Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. As we usually start our shows, by the name of Allah, the Most High, the Most Merciful, the especially merciful, we would like to welcome to the show a new revert. A revert that has been in Islam for some time now. She would like to share her story with us. She will be on the phone with us. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet with her in person due to the COVID-19 pandemic that is happening, as everybody know. But it doesn't stop us from reaching out and interviewing brothers and sisters and making new videos that might be beneficial to us, to the listeners, to the followers, to everybody. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We would really appreciate it. And this episode will be also on podcast, all over the podcast platforms. You just type the Revert podcast, and inshallah you'll find it. Sister Gigi is with us on the phone. So we'll have Sister Gigi introduce herself, inshallah, and we'll dive into the story of her journey of becoming the revert to Islam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So Sister Gigi, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam. Good to be here.
Thank you very much for being with us. That's first of all. And second of all, we'd like you to introduce yourself to the audience, if you don't mind, as in your name, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, my name is Gigi. I'm from New Jersey originally, but I live in Texas right now. And I reverted to Islam in March of 2017. Yeah, I'm originally from New Jersey, and I moved to Alabama years ago when I was 18, and I lived there. I was married for a long time and lived there. And then at some point I left there, came to Texas, went to Egypt, came back to Texas, and now I'm in Texas. I'm in College Station, Texas. You know where Texas A&M University is. That's where I'm at.
I see. MashaAllah. You actually been around the world, huh?
I really did. But you know what? Until I became a Muslim, I never had a passport. Once I became a Muslim, I got a passport, and I started to, I just started to, well, it all started just, I'd met somebody who was a Muslim really by accident. I really didn't know too much about it. I started looking into it and stuff, and I watched YouTube videos, things like that. Some stuff he told me, you know. And then I decided that I would go find Islam. I know that sounds funny, but I didn't know any Muslims in America, not one. I only knew Muslims abroad. That's it. So I decided to go search for Islam, and the first place I went, and I always went alone. I never took anybody with me, and I remember people here thinking, oh, she's going crazy now. What is she doing? I wasn't a Muslim yet, but I went to Dubai. And I know that was like the only place I could think of that was Islamic and that I knew was American friendly because I really didn't know anything about any of this. So I got there in Dubai and I got off the plane, very, very hot. I went to my hotel, and the very first it was 5 o'clock in the morning, I think. I was woke up by a sound. I didn't know what it was, never heard it before. And I went over to the window and I opened it. I was listening to this, and what I know now is the call to prayer. I didn't know it then, and I'm telling you, it touched me deep in my soul. I had never heard anything like that in my whole entire life, and I didn't know what I was listening to, but I knew it was good, and I didn't want it to end really, but it did, and I went back to sleep, and then like all day it happened, like 5 times. I was like, what's happening? And I didn't know anybody in Dubai, so I asked this guy. I said, what is this? And then he told me it's the call to prayer. And I said, what are they saying? And he told me what it was saying. And I said, wow, that is so beautiful. That 5 times a day this calls out. I was, anywhere I was, I could hear it. I was so shocked. I said, why doesn't America do this? Why are we so like we are and not doing this? Where, listen, 5 times a day, something reminds you of God. You know, and I was thinking, wow, this is so beautiful. And basically, I found what I was looking for. And I came back home, and I cried at the airport too. I didn't really want to leave there. I felt so happy and comfortable there. But I came back, and then I just started still studying, and I started a Facebook group to help me be taught by Egyptian people, like 10 Egyptian people. Well, that happened before I went to Dubai, but yeah, before I went to Dubai, I started a Facebook group. Well, somebody said you should start a Facebook group so you can learn Islam. And it was like me and 10 Egyptians, and they were teaching me all during Ramadan, and they helped me get through Ramadan, because I had never been through anything like that. So then I went to Dubai not long after. That was again. Let me get the story straight. I went to Dubai when I was not a Muslim, and then when I came back, I actually went to Dubai one more time, and I took the Shahada in Dubai. Then I came back, and I was a Muslim in March, and then I started the Facebook group.
SubhanAllah. Okay. So you were basically searching for something on your own, wanting to find the truth, wanting to find what, who created you, what is your purpose in life, and all that good stuff. That's what you were searching for.
I really was, because I didn't really know. I only knew Jesus, peace be upon him, and that never felt right to me that Jesus was God. But that's all I knew. So when I found out there was a God,
So let me cut you off for a little bit if you don't mind, and let's go back to the days of you growing up, back in the day when you were still growing up with your family, and being with your family. What was it like? What did you guys grow up on? What was your raising like?
Okay, well, I grew up in New Jersey. My mom was from New Jersey. My dad was from Georgia, and we grew up in a little town near Woodbury. And my childhood was okay. I mean, we grew up where it was Methodist. We went to a Methodist church, not very active. We only went to church like on holidays. That happens a lot here. I mean, my upbringing wasn't very good because my family was dysfunctional. It's just the truth. And I never really got taught too much about God or anything like this, but I knew about Jesus because of holidays mainly, and my family wasn't very religious, or they went to church or anything like this, so I really didn't know too much about that. Then when I turned 13, my mom and my parents divorced, and they left. Both of them. And so
they both left you?
Yeah, it's true. And
so where were you? Like staying with your your brothers and sisters?
Well, no, they were all gone. The oldest one was 16. He had already left. I was left by myself in a house. And I know it's weird and crazy, but I was there until I couldn't live there anymore. And then some people, basically, I went with people.
SubhanAllah.
It was very tough. Very tough years, to be honest.
So was it you owned the house, like your family owned the house? That's why you were able to stay? It was a rental.
Yeah, once the rent was up, I left. I remember being left with just grit and jelly. That's all I had to eat for really, it was very tough time, But it made me into a tough woman, which is a really good thing, I think, because
that's right. Obviously.
Yeah. And so when I turned 18, I finished high school. I finished high school unbelievably.
SubhanAllah.
I know, it was really unbelievable. And I went to college, and I got a degree. And
what did you get a degree in?
I got a degree in business.
Oh, so you're a businesswoman.
I am, and really. I'm a white person, and that's really not. And in Islam, race doesn't matter, which is beautiful. And but I married a black person when I moved to Alabama. I did. I married, and my kids are mixed. So why I'm telling you that is because of this. If it hadn't been for black people when I was a kid after 13, I would have been finished. It was people that were black really that saved me. People always wondered, why is she like this? Well, when these are the people who save you and they're good people, it's the people I feel comfortable with, people I'm happy with. So marrying someone black to me was just natural. It wasn't something, not natural. So I've always, I started out being an activist for this, for issues like this because I had mixed kids. I have a black son and my daughter is mixed. My husband was a U.S. Marine. So this is where my activism started. Naturally, when I became a Muslim, I took up some issues, but this is where it all started. And that's why, one reason why I loved Islam so much, and I moved to Alabama and actually had a cross burnt in my yard.
Subhanallah.
When I found out, we lived, my husband went to work and me and my kids were there by ourselves, and he came home and he said, "Did you see outside?" And I looked and there was a cross smoldering in the yard. And, I said, "Oh my gosh, this is nuts." I couldn't believe it. I'm from Jersey. I didn't see nothing like this there. There was problems, but not like this, and, I think all these things made me into who I eventually became because it toughened me up so much, and,
Subhanallah. So this is definitely Allah's work, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala builds you up in a way where He wants you to get to a goal. But before you get to that goal, in order for you to be able to accept that word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to get to that stage strong enough, and your mind is strong enough, your body is strong enough, and you're healthy enough for this to happen, subhanAllah.
You're exactly right. I feel like now, when I look back, I feel like my life was leading up to this because of all the things that I went through and all the trials and things I came through, and I was okay. I just feel like it was all about that. Because of homelessness as a child, because of being married to someone black in the South where it was a bunch of racists, people burning crosses in your yard, and you had to have a toughness in you. So I had this. So by the time it came to the time where then you're raising your kids and you're not letting anybody mess with them. My daughter was the first black young woman to be on the softball team in the high school. And she was the first black young woman to be the captain. And there was problems from that. White people didn't like that she was captain of the softball team. I heard them talking, because I'm white, they're white, they think they can talk. So I'm telling them, that's my daughter you're talking about. And they were shocked. They said, we don't really mean that. I said, yeah, okay, but that's my child, I said, and look, all your children voted her captain because I have a beautiful daughter. She's a registered nurse in Alabama right now in hospital, helping with COVID virus. And my son's in Alabama. He's in college. And I'm in Texas. But anyway, I think all this just set me up for this because of what I do now and what I'm going through now. Yeah, so that's kind of it.
So what kind of work do you do? What kind of work did you do throughout your life after you graduated from college or university?
Well, I worked at a realty office for most of it, and I managed one real estate office for 15 years, actually.
MashaAllah.
Same office. I became a Muslim, and after I became a Muslim, they kind of pushed me out,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, they made my life misery, and I just ended up, I went to Egypt then. I mean, I went to Texas, and then I went to Egypt, but...
Where were they? Were they in Jersey?
They were in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I took the Shahada. I actually took the Shahada in Dubai, but I lived in Alabama. But then when I came back, I went to the Alabama Birmingham Masjid, which had some of the greatest people I ever met, and took the Shahada there with them. Yeah, really good people. But you know what I remember? I remember walking into the masjid for the first time. This is funny. Because the listeners that are not Muslim will probably laugh at this, or the ones that are. I walked into the masjid for the very first time in gym clothes. I had no idea. I'm a gym person. I walked into the masjid in gym clothes, being myself and being kind of loud a little bit. And I tried to shake a guy's hand. And he was like, ugh. I was like, what happened? What did I do? Then the imam comes out, and I'm like trying to shake his hand. He said, "Oh," and I said, "What's wrong with everybody?" And so he started telling me, "We don't touch women that we're not, that aren't our relatives." I went, "Oh my goodness, really?" And he said, "Yeah." And then I just came for a Quran. I said, I know it's nuts now then. You probably think I'm a nut, but I'm just here to get a Quran. So they gave me a Quran. Yeah, it was, and then I looked at how everybody was dressed, and I looked at myself and went, oh, geez, I felt ashamed, really. I'm not, yeah.
So now, why don't you walk us through the day that you actually took Shahada? How did it work out? What happened? Like, make us live that moment right now.
Okay. Well, I was in Dubai. I was sitting outside of a masjid. I was sitting on a bench. Right. I had friends now in Dubai. The second time I've been there, and so I knew a few people that were there, and there was somebody there with me, and they were a Muslim, and I was getting ready to leave to come back to America. You know, oh my gosh, I'm a crier too. So I said I'm ready to do this now because I wasn't ready before because and I'll tell you why. To set the whole thing up for you, I had gotten a divorce, and I ended up still working at my job in the realty office, but I ended up singing in a band and working as a bartender at night. Yeah, so my life went in a different way. I wasn't doing bad stuff, but I was single and I had kids and I needed to put them in college. So I did this, and I love to sing. You know, I love singing and, you know, this and that. And, I had gotten tattoos. I mean, I went all out, but I wasn't happy. I was very, very, very unhappy. I was making good money now because I had 3 really good jobs and, I was kind of living large, but listen, I came home every night and, I drank myself to sleep, you know.
Oh, wow.
That's not good. There's something wrong. I mean, you can have everything in this whole world. I had cars, I had a house, I had everything you can imagine. A closet you could walk in and have shoes and purses and clothes. But I drank myself to sleep because
Subhanallah.
I was empty. And so I you know, so when Islam came along, something in me changed. I felt alive inside. I didn't feel dead anymore. I really felt dead inside. That's the only way I can describe it. I felt like a walking zombie. Like I was just getting up
Allahu
and
Akbar.
living.
Wow.
Yeah, just living life like without any concern. And I'm going to be completely honest with everybody because this is important to be honest. In order to help other people know it's okay to be in trouble inside, to be in trouble spiritually and physically. But I actually even a couple times thought if I crash into this tree, it would all be over and I won't feel anything now. I thought these things. And, you know, I can share this. I've never shared this publicly. This is the first time I've ever shared this. When I got to do, by the time I got, and then the Jesus thing, I was thinking, oh gosh, I'm very loyal person. And, I was thinking, how can I turn my back on Jesus? I knew Jesus my whole life. As a kid on the street, I prayed Jesus to save me, help me. And I felt like he did, but now I know that was God, really, Allah. And I found out, I don't know if you ever heard of Hassan Shibli. Do you know him, Hassan Shibli?
Hassan Shibli?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the name.
He's like, you ever heard of CAIR, C-A-I-R?
Yeah. CAIR,
okay,
yes.
I came across him. Somehow I came across him and I read about CAIR and what they were doing. And I'm an activist by heart. So I started donating to CAIR and I contacted him and asked him, which Jesus in this? And he said, you can be a guest at my table in Birmingham. I think it was Birmingham, and you can be a guest at my table and for a speech he was going to give, and he didn't even know who I was, and I came and I sat at his table and I listened and I found out that Jesus is a Muslim. I was like, oh my God, you guys are kidding me. I said, this is the best case scenario. I couldn't believe it. I'm an open mind. My mind is free. I'm a free mind. And, so I can think for myself. I've always, my mom and dad always used to say when I was little, the stork brought me to the wrong house. Really did. They used to say that. I got dropped at the wrong house because I've always been kind of a weirdo, I guess, to everybody. Did things in my own way, thought my own thoughts, and marched to my own tune. And so when I found out Jesus was a Muslim, I said, okay, that's it. That's all I need to know. Jesus is a Muslim.
Wow.
I'm good now. So when I got to Dubai, I was with my friend, and I said, I'm ready now. Before I go back to America, I want to be a Muslim. I was ready to quit the haram, and I did. When I took the Shahada with my friend, I felt like this is how I felt. I'm sitting there. I'm in Dubai. I'm nobody really in this world. I'm just another person. And I'm taking the Shahada, and my heart's pounding. I feel like breath is being breathed into me. I can't explain the feeling I had. I don't know. I could hear myself saying it, and it was really a special moment. I'll never forget it. I felt a complete change in me, and I left, came back to America, and I quit my job, except the one job at the realty office. And really, everybody thought I went mentally ill. Really, they literally thought I became mentally ill. Then I was a Muslim. Then I went and took the Shahada I learned how to dress. You know, I put clothes on. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. And, you know, I became a Muslim, and I loved every second of it. I love it. I did that, and then I was at my job. I had one job, the management job of the realty office. I audited 60 properties of their files and stuff. It was a pretty good sized job, paid really good, but I prayed at work. I was a Muslim all the time, and they kind of pushed me out, but that was okay. I continued on. I went on. Nothing stopped me. And
Of
I
course.
know it's because of my past. My past made me so tough. You know.
Of
and,
course. Of course.
Of course.
You know.
Allah set you up for this. He definitely set you up for this.
I believe so. And something else really stayed in my mind is Allah owns the world. Everything in this world is Allah. And Allah can give it to you, Allah can take it from you. So even if I'm sitting on the street with nothing, it's Allah's street, and I'm allowed to be there. I could be in a mansion. It's Allah's mansion. I could be there. So for me, I let go of world stuff a long time ago with this. I really don't care about that, you know, just having a lot of stuff and this and that like that. I just don't care. I've let all that go. So to continue forward in this, after I quit, lost my job, I left them, but they wanted me to go. They pushed me out, and I decided to go to Texas. I was going to Texas. I had family that lived there. Then I got there just in time for that. Remember Hurricane Harvey? I got there just in time for Harvey. I'm not kidding you. I was there 1 week. Harvey came. I had all my stuff in storage. I hadn't got my own apartment yet. I still was with my sister. I had all my stuff in storage. I had my car, and I told her I'm going to go to the shelter. I'm going to go to the shelter and help people. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to go there. So I did. I went there. Then the people from the masjid that I knew, because I knew people at the masjid there, because I went every day. They came and helped the shelter. But during all of this, my car gone. It's gone. Every belonging I had.
It all got damaged?
Gone. It's gone.
Oh.
Never seen it again. Yeah. And so I was in Houston, Texas. I had a couple suitcases. I had 3 suitcases actually. And somebody said, that's all I had. Somebody said, Gigi, come to Egypt and teach English. Why don't you do that? And come over here and learn and this and that. And I said, okay. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I was sad and I was crying. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me. Allah freed me. He took all this stuff, car payments. I didn't have any bills now. All my bills were gone. All this burden of stuff is gone. You know, it's just a burden. And now I'm free. I even took one of the suitcases. I took one of the suitcases full of clothes I didn't want that were sexy. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's just not Muslim type clothes. I filled up the suitcase full. I got rid of all that. And I just took my 2 suitcases, and I went to the bank. I made my ticket at the bank. And Uber picked me up, and I went to Egypt. And I was in Egypt for 10 months. Yeah, 10 months I spent there. Yeah, and I taught Egyptians how to speak English. I learned how to pray. I went to Al-Azhar, the college there, and yeah, and I met the Grand Imam, and he redid my Shahada with me. Very deep Shahada too. I mean, this Shahada is where you denounce everything. You denounce Christianity. You denounce all religions. And it was written in English and in Arabic. It's two different Shahada papers, and you had to wear a hijab and get your picture put on it. A very adept. Yeah, and that's where I ended up in Egypt.
MashaAllah.
Learning, yeah. And then my daughter, who's a registered nurse, she has children. She got transferred to College Station with a job, and her husband said, "Mama, I need you. Could you please come home? Because I need you." And I came home, and I came to College Station, and this is where I've been. But now they're all gone. Her job transferred her back to Alabama, so I've just been here in College Station by myself for more than a year, managing a Subway. I manage a restaurant. That's what I do. So basically I manage Subway. I go to the gym, but not now because of the virus. I go to the park. I run. I come home. I do dawah. I'm on Ask a Muslim page as a inbox person. I do dawah there, and I'm on another page, Ask About Islam, and I do dawah there, and I do shahadas pretty much every day with people, and this is what I do. I do dawah. I love it. I go to work.
Maybe inshallah you'll join us on the revertworld.com website, and you start helping us there, inshallah.
Sure. And look, I've got 8 Facebook groups. I've got 8 Messenger groups, and I've got 3 pages of my own. So I've got tons of stuff I can share, and I would love to help in dawah anywhere. I'll go anywhere and help in dawah. Yeah, even in person. I have 3 cases of Qurans in the back of my car, and I give them out to people too.
Amazing.
I've done 2 shahadas here in person.
Amazing.
This is my life. And it's my life because Allah saved my life. Allah saved my life.
He sure did.
And I'm forever grateful. And so now I'm going to try to save other people's life for the sake of Allah. So I let Allah work through me to help others.
That's amazing.
That's what I'm doing now.
That's amazing.
It's a crazy story.
That's a beautiful story. It's a very touching story. MashaAllah. And I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this story a story that will change a lot of people. And it will bring a lot of truth to a lot of people. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Sister Gigi, we really, really appreciate you sharing this story with us and actually sharing a lot of the deep stuff that you never shared before, sharing them with us here on the Revert. I really appreciate it. We'll definitely be sharing this story on YouTube and on the podcasts, and we'll share it on Facebook, and we'll send it over to you so you can share with everybody that you know.
Okay.
This is amazing. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me and you and all Muslims sincerity in this da'wah work, which is the work of all the messengers and prophets. Allahumma ameen. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it from us and to allow us to enter His paradise all the way in the highest levels of paradise, Al-Firdaus Al-A'la. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen. That's it. It's our duty.
Definitely.
It's our duty to do this. Because
That's
every single person should have a chance to hear about Islam, so that every single person has a chance to go back to their God, their Creator, Allah, and that's why I do this.
Thank you very much for your time, and you take care of yourself. You stay safe, inshallah.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.